Hey guys. Okay, cool. So, yeah, last time I got the board generating following this guy's tutorial, made a few changes, and yeah, this time I did actually take a screenshot of the game board for the game I'm looking at for inspiration. So I'm gonna see how that looks and try to go from there. So let me send that to myself because it was on my phone. And I'll pull that up for everybody. Okay, so this is what it looks like. So maybe I should just count the squares. Not gonna be fun, but I'm gonna do it. So I'll make it full screen. You guys can't see the whole thing, but I don't think anybody wants to see this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Okay, yeah, the 30 goes to the middle of the H. Which makes me think we're at 60, like I said. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 30. Okay, so I think that's what I calculated. Let me go back to my notes. I came up with 62 tiles wide. That means I thought it was 50 wide because I added an extra 6 tiles for the flanks. So I can change that, and then we'll just count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's 30. So it looks like that number I got correctly, right? Because 60 equals 30 times 2. Fuck. How wide did I say this thing was? Oh my god, I'm gonna count it. Oh no, I said it was 30 wide, right? Oh no, I said it was 60 wide versus 50. And then I thought the flanks are 6 each, but now that I'm looking at it, I think the flanks might just be 5 each. Because this thing is 94-ish pixels wide. Oh, but this is wider actually. Yeah, that's like, it's gotta be 6. Okay. I think it is 6. Because I think you can put a giant and some chaff in front of it. Which would take 6. I don't know if you can, if it's 7 though. It could be 7, but you know, let's just move on. So if I go over back to the coding, I can really easily change it from 62 to 72, right? So that will take us there. And kind of similarly, or no. Yeah, so I can just kind of move forward now. So let's see what we got next in this.
Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be doing a very short and quick video on the enhancement of the board unit, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
I feel like most of what he does is not
Awesome. So
really
last
going
time
to
we
be
saw that we
relevant.
had a board manager And within the board manager, we had the code that was going to utilize some sort of a prefab for us, and then we were going to generate the board and store it in a two-dimensional array. So let's go back to the Unity editor, and let's go to our prefab. And in our prefab, what I have done is that I have incorporated a canvas. This is a world space canvas. So by default, whenever you create a canvas, the canvas is screen space. In our case, we want this particular canvases to be world space. And
did I end up completing all the steps from the last video? Like, I'm pretty sure I did. I just remember he was putting like a lot of stuff on the tile, and I think I kind of disregarded that. So let me stop the game. And then, yeah, I didn't do the last step, what he did there. Because he's got the root board unit and the board unit, right?
To do that, you just change the render mode to
I think he's just doing it right
then
here.
Then we're going to generate the board and store it in a two-dimensional array. So let's go back to the Unity editor, and let's go to our prefab. And in our prefab, what I've done is that I have incorporated a canvas. This is
okay. So I think I understand what happens. So there's where's the board? Okay, so there's a board tile prefab, and I think he put that inside of another prefab. So can I create another prefab here? How do we do that? I know I can create an empty game object. We can call it board tile root, or what does he call it? Root board tile. I would rather call it board tile root. And then inside of it, I can do this, right? And then I can do that. I think that's what he's done. So okay, so inside of this prefab now, he's got the board unit and then he's got a canvas. So let's go ahead and create a canvas, which is one of these things. I remember, I think it's under UI, yeah. Canvas, cool. So he's done that, and he mentioned it should be a world space canvas. Okay. Okay, so then he's also put a panel inside of it with a caption. Let's just do it for now. Let's see how it goes.
The world.
So I think I can probably do this on my own. So if I look at UI, panel is under UI, and inside of the panel, I'm assuming it's got to be like under UI Text Mesh Pro. This appears to be the first time you use Text Mesh Pro. We need to add resources. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're using this TMP stuff. Okay. Sure, we'll take some examples and extras. Dude, there's so many like libraries in this game editor thing. It's really cool. But it's definitely going to be a learning curve here. So we could rename it to be board tile caption, right? Where do I put the words here? Oh, so he was able to put the position. So let's see what he's done.
Space canvas. So by default, whenever you create a canvas, the canvas is screen space. In our case, we want this particular canvases to be world space. And to do that, you just change the render mode to workspace. And the other thing that I did is that I changed the dimensions to 100 by 100. And more importantly, I scaled it down to 0.01 on the X and the Y axis. This actually makes, to do that, you just change the render mode to board space. And the other thing that I did is that I changed the dimensions to 100 by 100, and more importantly,
he changed the dimensions to 100 by 100. What did we put the dimensions on the board tile originally? Width and height. I don't see that anywhere. Okay, maybe it's not part of that. It's in. And he put that on the canvas. Okay, so we'll just do what he says. Where did I declare the size of my board tiles? Oh. Yeah, I don't really understand where I set the size of my board tiles. Yeah, I don't get that. Maybe it's this scale thing, but that's okay. I'll figure that out later. So, moving on. He put it to 100 by 100.
I scaled it down to 0.01.01 on the X and the Y.
0.01.01. Okay.
Axis. This actually makes it super nice and exactly fits it on our board unit the way you see it over here. The next thing I did is I created a panel. A panel is a container that will be utilized to contain other UI elements in there. So this is perfect for grouping. Do you need to have a panel contain panel?
Okay,
panel
looks like also the board tile is at 000, but the canvas is not. So I think we want to do that. Okay, that's cool. And I bet it's got to be this pivot. No, it's not the pivot. Where does he have the anchors? His anchors are different. Doesn't seem to matter. I don't know why my text is up though and his is not. All of these numbers look the same except that one.
That will. The next thing I did is I created a panel. A panel is.
Okay, so he's on the panel now, but I'm still on the canvas. Okay, so I think basically my canvas is set correctly, and it's the panel that I'm gonna need to change. It's notable that he put the canvas at 0.011. I wonder why he would choose to do it like that. But, I wonder if that's important. I'll just ignore it for now. I don't think it's that important.
Unit, the way you see it over here. The next thing I did is I created a panel. A panel is a container that will.
So let's take a look at a panel that we've created. So his is at 000. Ours is at 000 with all these zeros. 1.5. Okay. All right.
Be utilized to contain other UI.
I wonder how we got it to be flat.
So this is perfect for grouping. Do you need to have a panel? Not necessarily. You don't actually need to have a panel. You can directly just create a TextMesh Pro. In this case, we are utilizing a TextMesh Pro UI component to represent the caption, as you can see over here. Okay, so that's kind of like the structure of the board unit as of right now. This might change in the future. Actually, it will change in the future. So what I have done is create an empty parent as a root of the board unit. Then we had our default GameCube, if you recall, that we scaled it down on our previous episode. And then we have added this canvas where it's going to be utilized to display some information as far as the location of that particular board unit across the whole board. So this is going to be useful for us later on for debugging purposes, right? And in the canvas, again, we have a panel, and the panel contains a TextMesh Pro. Lastly, what we did is on the board unit itself, we created a board unit class. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So what the board unit class is going to be doing is that it's going to have a reference to the board caption, the TMP board caption. That way, at runtime, when the board is generated, and if you recall, we were creating the actual unique identifier for the name of the board. That's also going to be passed over to this board unit component, where it's going to update the caption on the board itself. So let's double click on this. And
so let's go back and pause it. I'm mostly down with what he's talking about, but I don't understand why he didn't cover the rotation. And I mean, I can do it on my own, I bet. I don't know. That doesn't seem like the right one. How about that? I mean, I really actually do think it was that. But, okay, so that one actually like looks fine. I really think it's this red thing, right? So no, something is wrong happening there. Interesting. Maybe it's the caption itself. It's got to be this caption thing, right? Yeah. Okay, so these rotation numbers are in degrees. I think. I still don't understand. Okay, so that's the z-axis. I can see that. It's got to be the x-axis. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so it's the x-axis. We want to rotate it like that, but we don't want it so fucking long. I don't know why it's so long. What if I do the scale tool? Okay, that changes that number. Okay, so if it is 0.1, dude, I gotta be doing something wrong here because this is just so stupid. Let's go back and look at his. Did he actually use a Text Mesh Pro? He did. So he wrote the text here. I wonder if I should look at these options. Okay. I don't think it's any of these options because, yeah, he doesn't even have a rotation on his text. So really makes me think that he does have different numbers up here. So that seems super relevant. So let me go ahead and remove this, put this back to what it was, and put this back to what it was. And then we'll put these numbers in, 0330. 9025. Okay, that definitely seems better. I don't know what's happening, but it's looking better. How the fuck did he get it there, though? Huh. This guy, like, it's really good that he took the time to make a video, but you know, who am I to criticize some random guy on the internet? But I will say, it's not very good. So, yeah. But is my video any better? You know what? I don't care. Mine is better. Okay. Let's just try to focus on the problem at hand. So, I mean, I could ask the AI how to do it. Could definitely try to mess with the AI, but that doesn't sound like a fun idea. What if I put this rotation back? No, it's just not doing it. These are all 0.5s. The alignment is interesting. He's done that. He went with a font size of 20. We'll do that too. He's got an auto size. We'll do a min 10, a max 20. Oh, I see. It'll make it take up the space. That's nice. Okay. And then it's got a vertex color, no gradient, character line 0, whatever. Okay. Well, I cannot see what he's done to make his appear differently from mine. And I honestly think it is a failure on his part.
So that's kind of like the structure of the...
Because, yeah, if I look at his thing, he's running it kind of at this orientation, and as far as I can tell, there's nothing different. What if I were to save this and then go back into maybe into my code? What if I do board tile root prefab? Where does it get the definition? Oh, I see. Sorry. I don't know. Let's just not do that actually. Let's just change it back to board tile prefab. Yeah, and then that's on which script? It's on the board manager, right? So I know how to do this. So if I go down to board manager, it takes board tile prefab and we just give it this guy, right? So if we were to look at this, we should see that text kind of standing up everywhere in the game. Yeah, and wow, that fucking lags. Holy shit, this is not going to be fun, guys. Cool. So yeah, new text. Nice. But yeah, I don't know why it's standing up. And then we definitely want to delete this because we're just trying to modify the prefab, right? This thing provides no values. So let me go ahead and delete. And now if I run it again, we shouldn't have that extra one standing up. Oh, we have nothing now. So that did not work out the way we wanted. So let's put that thing back and run it again. So there's a single board tile. Okay, whatever I just did broke the whole game. So my board manager, oh, it lost that because we didn't put the prefab in. So if I look at my board manager, we put that in and then we delete this. Is there a hotkey for play? I don't know. I would have expected it to be Command R, but maybe they just don't like the R word in Unity. Not everybody's a fan of using the R word. I believe people should use whatever word they want to describe whatever they want at their own convenience. And you know, we're all learning vocabulary at different rates. So I personally am a fan of the R word, but I can see why it's not for everybody. Okay.
Board unit, as of right now, this might change in the future. Actually, it will change in the future. So what I have done is create an empty parent as a root.
Okay, so he said he created an empty parent as a root. Let's look what that looks like. Oh, interesting. His has a position of 0, 0, 0. Let's try with that. Doesn't seem to help us at all. It makes things worse. God, this stuff is hard. Okay, if I run the game, do we still get all this stuff? Yeah, that should be fine, because that stuff gets overridden at runtime. But why can't I see the prefab anymore now that I've changed it? It's really fucking annoying. Looks like we just need to kind of focus on it. So it seems fine. It seems pretty harmless to move it to 0, 0, 0. Vitamins. Okay. Let's keep watching.
Of the board unit. Then we have our default GameCube, if you recall that we scaled it down on our previous episode. And then we have added this canvas where it's going to.
I think I did that. So if I look at this. Yeah, we did the scaling part, and it is a cube, but he's added a few things on here, which we seem to have most of it. I don't think we actually want a... I don't actually think we want the box collider, because that seems like it's going to handle like collisions between units, which we aren't handling in this. But could be useful. I think it actually will be useful when you're placing a unit in the tile. It could be one way, could be to use the collider, but I think we might use a different logic. So anyways, let's move forward. But he also seems to have added a board unit script. So hopefully he explains that.
And then we have added this canvas where it's going to be utilized to display some information as far as the location of that particular board unit across the whole board. So this is going to be useful for us later on for debugging purposes, right? And in the canvas, again, we have a panel, and the panel contains the Text Mesh Pro. Lastly, what we did is on the board unit itself, we created a board unit class. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So what the board unit class is going to be doing is that it's going to have a reference to the board caption, the TMP board caption. That way, at runtime, when the board is generated, and if you recall, we were creating the actual unique identifier for the name of the board. That's also going to be passed over to this board unit component, where it's going to update the caption on the board itself. So let's double click on this and see how it's composed. Currently, very simple.
Okay, so somehow he's got a board unit script. I think I just can create that. I forget how to do that, but I think it's super easy. So do I create that on here? Or on here? That's my first question, because this thing has that, but it's a reference to this, right? So I think I can just add this, and we'll just call it board tile script, yeah. Do I have to put the word script at the end? I think you do, right? No, we don't do that, because that'll say script. So we can just undo that maybe. We can just say board tile new script. Okay. So we've added a script. I think that's what he did, right? Yeah, so he has a boarding script, and on the script he has some props, which we can just copy and get. So let's take a look at the script.
The board itself. So let's double click on this and see how it's composed.
So he's declared something called TMP. Oh, TMP doesn't stand for temp. It stands for Text Mesh Pro. That makes sense. Typically, TMP indicates it's like a temporary thing. But okay, so I did update the prefab, which ended up updating the instance of the prefab on our other prefab. So that's good. And then to update the script, I think there's a way to click on it somewhere. How do I do that? How do I get to the script? I think you'd click here. No. This is not happening. So we'll go back. What if I go here? I thought I added a script. Edit script. What if I click there? Okay, I don't know why I had to click on it like that. And this is deleted. We don't have this anymore. All right, cool. Now we look at what he did. So he declared a, I'm gonna move it down here now. We're gonna open our script and, okay, so he's got a public TMP text, TMP board caption. Seems fine. And then we can call it, what did we call it? We called it, fuck, this is so confusing. We called it a board tile caption. We could just call it board tile caption text. I think that's fine. And he's got an intro call, so let's go ahead with that. And let's see what he says next.
Currently very simple. So we have a TMP text field that's referencing the actual TMP component from the UI. And we also have two integers here, one of them representing the row and one of them representing the column. Again, this will be utilized later on down the road. Switching over to our board manager. In the board manager, pretty much the code is still the same. The only difference is that we have added this board unit region. And basically what we are doing is once we are instantiating the board unit, we are getting the board unit component from the game object that we just instantiated, and we are doing it from its children, and there's only going to be one of them, right? So the get components in children, not get component. Get component will going to be one of the game object that we unit instantiating the board unit.
Manager, he gives it a name, and then he updates the TMP UI because he's able to get the component in children. I'm not sure what that means. What is... Okay, because yeah, we called it tile. I see. I don't actually know what that get component in children call does, so I'm going to go ahead and Google that. Unity get component in children. Here we go. Where is it on the left? It's probably under game object, right? No, it's, I don't know what the fuck is this. There's also something called get components in children. I see. So the TMP is a board unit prefab, which I don't get. Shouldn't it be a root board unit prefab? Let me try to understand this code. So if we go back to board manager, which I wrote last time. Oh, that's just a name. I see. That's actually not the name. Okay, it's just a name that we created. Got it. So this is a root board tile prefab. So it's instantiating that, and then he's giving it a title. Well, we gave it a title for some reason, but I don't think that's really important. I think that's probably some AI generated code. We can leave it there though. So if we just do string name equals string dot format, and we should just call this like board tile caption text, right? I don't know why he wrote name. Okay, and it's gonna be B1. I wonder what B1 means, but what the fuck is this? Oh, is that like some way to format numbers? That's weird. Let me ask AI what this does. What does this line do in C#? I think those are placeholders, but let's see what
we are getting the board unit component.
I wonder why he does these hashtag region stuff. I saw another game dev tutorial where a guy was using some, I believe they're preprocessor directives for C# in his game, and don't fully understand what they do, but I bet with time I will get it. Okay, so it puts the number of digits and stuff. Okay.
From the game.
Okay, so then we got the text, and then we can just call it caption text. Okay, and then we can do something like
game object that we just instantiated.
So if we look here, we still have the tile, which he's called temp. And then he sets the parent transform. If it's not null, he does that.
And we are doing it from its children, and there's only going to be one of them, right? So the get components in children, not get component. Get component will get the component from the current transform. Get component in children will get it from any children that the current transform might have. In this case, there's only one that is supporting board unit, so this should be fine. And then the next thing that we are doing is just assigning the text value of the TMP board caption label to whatever the name is that we have formatted over here, and we'll also updating the row and the column field as well. So that's pretty much what we are doing here. So going back to our Unity editor, and if I go ahead, we are doing here.
Okay, so it's a capital G. Why is it not? Why is it not auto-completing? So like position dot. Yeah, my auto-completer, it was working last time, but it's not working this time, so that's bad. Let me close the IDE and start it again. Uh-oh, there's a problem. The type or namespace temp text. Can you be using an assembly reference? Okay, so that's fine. What if I go back? Okay, cool. It's doing the highlighting now. But what if I go back here? Can we get the? Okay, now we can see the autocomplete. So that's progress. Okay, so let's just kind of copy what he's got here. So we can try again now. Board tile. Cool. TMP UI equals TMP, and it's tile dot get component in children of type board tile. We're going to call that function. I don't know why he calls this TMP UI. I mean, I think it's tile UI, right? But that's just a board tile or board unit. This guy's variable naming is really pissing me off. I really can't wait until I don't have to watch a tutorial and I can do my own shit. Maybe I should try building with the agent more, but I barely know what I'm doing. So, okay, so we get this tile UI. I don't know why he named it this, because this is actually an instance of a board tile, not a UI. But let's just move forward. So tile UI dot this dot where's the string? Did we not make the string? Oh, here we go. Where's call and row? Where did you get call and row from? That makes no sense to me. Where do these variables get a value? I don't see that happening here.
So going back.
Oh, he has an I and a J. It's okay. So I really just don't understand the point of this guy's life. Is it like you? Okay, so it's just like I just don't get it, bro. I'm sorry this is happening to you, but I'm not really into whatever it is that you're doing. So it's call and row. We could just do Y and X, right? Let's start. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what we're going to start with. And then, you know what? I'm going to start with X and Y because that sounds reasonable. Okay, but then he's doing this thing. Tile UI dot equals caption text, right? So this is a field, but we don't have that type, and that's the problem that we were seeing earlier. So maybe we go, okay, so around like 450, right? So let's go back to where he wrote that. And he says using TM Pro. That changes that. And it's probably because of this, right? Cool. So this thing, we can't see the definition, but it's fine. It's got that thing. All right, let's keep going. So that puts the text on there, and what else has he done? We'll go back to 450, right? So he's got a call and a row, which I don't remember putting that on there, but apparently it is a thing. And he puts it as y tile UI dot row equals x. Okay. And then he's doing it like this. He's trying to decrement. I'm not interested in this whole increment decrement scheme that he's on, but I'm happy for him, truly. Okay, it just seems like unnecessary variables.
Children that the current transform might have. In this case, there's only one that is supporting board unit, so this should be fine. And then the next thing that we are doing is just assigning the text value of the TMP board caption label to whatever the name is that we have formatted over here, and we'll also updating the row and the column field as well. So that's pretty much what we are doing here. So going back to our Unity editor, and if I go ahead and click run now, you'll see that boards have been generated accordingly.
Okay, so let's try that. So we go save this and we run it. Let's see how that takes us. I'm assuming the orientation is still going to be wrong, but maybe it'll say some of the words if I didn't miss any steps. It looks like it's saying nothing, and now my board is broken. Oh, we have a bunch of little errors. That was it. Yeah, that was what this builds it. This call is not allowed. Huh. Let's try it again. Okay, there's a single error, it seems. So we have a null reference exception, object reference not set. An initialized board. Okay. Seems fine. So basically it's saying that this isn't set, right? So if I were to comment this out, it should work. Let's just make sure this works. Okay, so that works. And it does do that, and we can go back here. You can see that they all say new text. Okay. So I didn't instantiate the variable. I missed that step somehow. So tile has been instantiated. It's just this board caption text that hasn't been instantiated. So I missed that somehow. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so tile equals instantiate with a board tile prefab. That's fine. But then this thing doesn't have a value. Makes sense. I could see kind of needing to instantiate it. So let's try again by looking at what he wrote. doesn't do anything. I think he did something in the editor to instantiate it. Let's take a look at the editor. So I go back to project maybe, and this thing, and this thing. I think I know what to do. So it's in the board tile. This thing right here. I think we just need to put this in here. It seems right. So if we save that, go back here and save that. Now we try to run it. We should see a different result. Cool. It's working. And if we get out of this thing and go back here, we can see that they have numbers on them. That's fantastic. So we go down here. It starts at 0, 0, and it moves out. That's awesome. Wonder why they're all up and his aren't. But we will figure that out soon enough. I believe in us. So let's keep going.
With the board caption, the TMP board caption. That way, at runtime, when the board is generated, and if you recall, we were creating the actual unique identifier for the name of the board, that's also going to be passed over to this board unit component, where it's going to update the caption on the board itself. So let's double click on this and see how it's composed. Currently, very simple. So we have a TMP text field that's referencing the actual TMP component from the UI. And we also have two integers here, one of them representing the row and one of them representing the column. Again, this will be utilized later on down the road. Switching over to our board manager. In the board manager, pretty much the code is still the same. The only difference is that we have added this board unit region. And basically what we are doing is, once we are instantiating the board unit, we are getting the board unit component from the game object that we just instantiated, and we are doing it from its children, and there's only going to be one of them, right? So the get components in children, not get component. Get component will get the
maybe
component
UI
from
stands for
the
unit
current transform.
instance.
Get component in children will get it from any children that the current transform might have. In this case, there's only one that is supporting board unit, so this should be fine. And then the next thing that we are doing is just assigning the text value of the TMP board caption label to whatever the name is that we have formatted over here, and we'll also updating the row and the column field as well. So that's pretty much what we are doing here. So going back to our Unity editor, and if I go ahead and click run now, you'll see that boards have been generated accordingly. The difference is that now we actually can identify what each one of these board units.
So I really want to figure out how to get mine not appearing vertically. So if I click on this, that's the panel. If I click on this, this is the canvas. Where is the canvas? Okay, the canvas is also there. Maybe I want to do rotation. Oh, okay. There we go. So, oh. So I can do 88, 89, 90. Okay, so that's there, but I think I need to position it slightly above. I do remember seeing a number there, and I was like, I'll look at this later. Yeah. Got it. I see. He put 0, 1, 1 there. I remember this now. Okay, cool. So now if I run it, we should see a different result. I want to go back out of this view, so I'll just do this, yeah. Okay. Oh shit. Nope, we don't see the text for some reason. Still, at this point, we're not seeing the text. It's really interesting. Okay, we're gonna stop. I guess we press play again. That's okay. So let's stop and let's go back here. Nope. Here maybe? Yeah, no, it's here. And it's the canvas. I thought we saved it as 1 1. I don't know why it went to 0 0 1. I wonder if it's like a runtime value that's overriding it somehow. Okay, so that's happening, but then okay. Yeah, I guess I made a typo. Let's save it to 0 0 1. Okay, so this is cool. How do we get rid of these little identifiers, right? Because he doesn't have them, and the little T's are really annoying. Right? I wonder how to get rid of that. I could ask the AI, so I'll just take a screenshot of the editor and go ask the AI. How do I hide the labels for each of the game objects? View. Don't like the T in the squares. It's unnecessary and distracting. Yeah, so we go to the gizmos in the top right of the scene view. Is this gizmos? I feel like that's gizmos and that's general. The fuck is gizmos? Oh, you just have to drag it. Okay, so you can't just toggle it. That's all it is. Okay, cool. Well, that's that. The board seems big. I don't know why it's so fucking slow, but I really hope it doesn't end up slow. All right, we did that.
Represents which position they actually hold. So this is a great way to identify, especially early on in the project. So whenever you want to troubleshoot or debug behaviors or data components within the actual game, then it would be easier to actually visualize it. Lastly, the other thing that I did is implement a quick mouse click. So each time we are selecting an object in the scene, and if that object happens to be a board unit, what we are doing is that we are printing out the information that we have selected that board unit. So this is the next step, right? In the future episode, what we'll be doing is implementing the actual interaction of the user with their mouse on the actual board and be able to place the player's pieces onto the empty slots within the board. All right, so that's it. Very straightforward. Before we end this particular episode, let's jump back in here. Just quickly showing you guys how the mouse click works. So we are doing a rate.
Okay, we take a look at this. I don't think I necessarily want this, but let's take a look at this because actually the mouse click is important because inside of each of these tiles, people will place their units. But I don't know that it's the right thing. So yeah, well, I'm not going to do it, but I'm probably going to do something very, very similar. So maybe it would be better to just do it. Yeah. Sorry for the whole roundabout logic on that, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and copy this. So let me move this over here. And let's see how he did that. So that's on the board manager in the update function. Okay.
We are creating an array where we are passing in the mouse position to the screen point array function from the camera. And then we are checking to see if the left mouse button has been clicked. And if that is the case, we are doing a raycast using the physics.
All right, so we'll do this. Ray camera screen point to ray input dot mouse position region mouse click if input dot get mouse button down 0. We're gonna say raycast hit equals hit. We're gonna declare hit, and if physics dot raycast ray out hit 200. Don't know what that means, but I will learn. If we get a ray out hit 200, let's actually read about that. I wonder what out does. Unnecessarily assignment. Somehow this is doing an assignment on the hit variable. Pretty interesting. And then if there's that, and then we're also going to do hit.transform.tag.equals board tile, I'm guessing, because I don't have board units. Oh, I remember something about putting a tag on it. Var bt equals hit.transform.getComponent board unit tile debug.log bt.tmboard board tile caption text.text. So we're gonna log the text on it. And we're gonna end the region after the if. I feel like the word mouse click is unnecessary there. This guy really does not have good style guidelines.
Class, and basically we are determining to see if there is a hit or not. If we do have a hit and the tag of the transform that we just hit equals to the board unit, then what we are going to do is that we are going to get the component now. So now we are getting the component, not the child from the children, but directly from the transform itself, because we are interacting with the board itself. And here we are just doing a debug statement. Again, get familiar with this debug.log. These are going to be handy later on as your code becomes much more complicated and you want to troubleshoot and make sure that everything is like working properly. Lastly, what we did, let's also go back to the editor on the board unit itself. Let me stop this. Under prefab, the board unit, we changed the tag to board unit. This wouldn't exist, so you would have to create it. So you would go down here and say add tag. And from here, you
guys.
Click,
watch out.
Click that plus sign, and I have multiple screens over here, so it's not going to show it for you guys. But basically, you would enter the name of the tag, and then you would click save. That will create the tag. That's not going to assign the tag. Okay, so that will just create the tag, but not assign the tag. So what you need to do is go back and select the object of interest, and then from the tag drop down, you would then select that specific tag that you just created. And this now is assigned and associated with this particular game object in the prefab. Therefore, when we are checking it on the code, we should be fine.
So I can click it.
So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen.
It's really fucking slow.
All right, so that's it for today. Very quick and straightforward. but another piece of the fundamentals that we need to put in place before we get to the next step. All right, thank you for stopping by, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys.
Thanks, buddy. I'll give you a like. I think you're doing a good job. I'll subscribe too. I really like this content. All right. I feel like I've earned a coffee break, but I'm going to keep at this. This is starting to get pretty engaging, and streaming it is keeping me on task. So kind of really enjoying this new adventure. Thanks, guys.